Hello, hello, and welcome to Ruby Thursday. I'm Melissa Wanish. And yes, this is part of a series of videos that I've been doing, trying to put together a membership site for an NFT project called Adult Fantasy that launched back in December. And now we're working towards a membership site, and we're gonna log in with Ethereum, right? So it's sign in with Ethereum. I'm saying SWE. I still don't know how people are pronouncing it, but that's okay. Maybe I'll coin it. Why not? So we are working. We had lots of good times working through a tutorial, and then I went away for a little bit and said, you know what? I'm gonna. The tutorial said, hey, this isn't really production code. This is so you can understand, exactly the inner workings and pieces that need to go together to make a secure login with your MetaMask. And so I went and looked at the example code from the Ruby gem that it recommended, and I put the pieces together. And I'm even now checking to see if the user owns an adult fantasy NFT. So I'm going to show you the code. What's not happening is test yet. So I just was like, I just want to see it work. So that's what is happening. And so we're gonna go look through the code tonight and see how it turned out. And then the final piece I haven't done yet is that I didn't have an adult fantasy NFT in these wallets that I want to use. And so I made a new wallet that all it would have is just one. And so I haven't actually logged in yet with the condition now that you have to own an adult fantasy NFT. So we'll see. Hopefully, I think it should work, but that might be the adventure tonight. So let's see. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I will look down at the other screen I have, and look there and see what we got. So let me just minimize. I realize I have this other thing open. So I will go to where I got the examples and we'll check it out first. So let me add the share screen to what's coming up as. Boom. All right. So here we are. This is the gem that is being suggested. So it's Sweet Rails examples. So these are the examples of it, right? And we can go here is the actual gem. Oh, I didn't. Where are you going? Go back. I wanted to click. Oh, fine. Here's all my, hopefully that's nothing exciting. Ending in. Ah, goodness gracious. GitHub, what you doing? Killing me here. Okay. So this is the examples. I wanted to go. So this is the Rails engine. That's not where I wanted to go, but thank you. I wanted to go here. Let me really just make sure it's happening. All right. And so here's the gem. Here's the gem. It's called Sweet Rails. You can add it in. I did not do it as an engine. I went with a custom controller. Okay. So that's what I did. So I used the example custom controller because I knew I wanted to have some flexibility with it to check exactly. You're not just signing in with Ethereum. We need to check that you have that NFT. So this is what I did. I looked through here and applied it to our membership app. So I kind of like ripped out a bunch of stuff. And instead of worrying with that like API example, it does it all in a controller. It's not RESTful at all, but it is all a controller for the membership for the session. So let's take a look at that first. These are not in any order, but I thought I would um, show you what's going on here. So yeah. let's go to the controller first, then I'll show you the JavaScript. So here we are requiring our gems, and it'll hit a sign in, and then there's going to be a message. Okay, so the JavaScript is going to put together this message, and then this sign in validates that it's all good to go. We are no longer doing a create account and then log in. That was to do it all at once was the preferred from the uh, flow from the designer, from Todd. He's like, oh no, they should just have an account. So and then actually that example did that exactly upsert. So if it's not there, we'll make a new one. If it is there, then it'll just make sure that the ETH address has been updated. Or well, it's just upstarting. It's actually only going to create it, or it shouldn't actually make a new one. And then it'll have uh, some JSON in there, and it's going to render that. All right. So then, during the JavaScript, it's going to look and see if we're already signed in, right? If we're already signed in, we don't have to sign in. So it's looking to see that it's already signed in, and it's going to send back the JSON. Okay. Here it is. The JavaScript hits this to make the message. So it's going to create your one use generate nonce. We're going to create this message, the address. It's going to have this statement, adult fantasy, and all of this actually shows up in your MetaMask. Like a lot of this shows up in your MetaMask so that you know what message you're signing, because there is a prompt for you to sign. So it sends back the message. And then this is part from the gem here, preparing message. And look, the example had a sign out. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So we set all the sessions back to nil. And then we put back, hey, you're not authorized anymore, which then you can use in all kinds of places. So that is the sessions controller. We talked about the JavaScript. I reorganized it quite a bit. So here's the sessions. So here's the sign in. So the button will go here from our view, and I'll show you the view. But here's what it's going to do. And then it's actually importing. Oh, that's annoying. It's actually importing the ABI, right? So it has all of the functions needed from the contract, one of which is from the ERC 721 um, uh, spec that it has a balance of, right? So it's seeing the balance of all the tokens for that particular address. And so if it's greater than 0, we're going to let you log in. So you'll see that in just a second. So this is coming straight from the example, connects to the wallet, starts the Ethers.js. So we're going to do MetaMask. We'll see if we want to, if there's a need later for other plugins, but we'll see. So we're setting the provider. We're going to get that first account, make sure what chain we're on. It's nice because especially if we have, a test staging thing, we may have to figure out this a little bit differently, or set a different ABI, but we'll see. And yeah, so then we're going to see, this is the part I added. Check if the address owns an AF NFT. So we're going to wait the number of tokens owned. So that's a little function I made. Boop, 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 down here, I think. Yes. Right. So I didn't do any kind of error message yet, but there's our to do. So we have an adult fantasy season 1. We're getting the network data from the chain. Then we find the address, and then the network data is from like the ABI, right? So Dusty Sky is saying he would like to come. That's from the from Discord popping in. Thank you for the shout out. Um, uh, and then right, so from the ABI, from the network to getting the chain ID, we're getting the address from that in case it had other chains in there. And so then we're setting that contract at the provider, and then we're gonna wait. The contract's balance of and the address coming in, the one that's trying to log in. If it is not an owner, right? I don't know why that's like a little different color, but if it's not an owner, we're gonna have a console error. This address does not own an NFT. Okay. Um, that should probably be before looking at that. Control X. Is that actually somewhere else too? Is that what? Yeah, let's actually take that out. I think that was like in between stuff. See, I'm making it better right now. Okay. So it's going to return the balance, returning that number. Okay. So let's go back up. Right. So if the number of tokens to number, because it comes back as a big number, is equals 0, well then you don't own one. So we're going to stop. We're going to throw an error. Done. Bye-bye. But if it doesn't equal 0, I don't see how it could do negative, but all right. If it's greater than 0, we go ahead and look up the address and make sure it is an address. And now we're getting a proper message from the back end, right? Here's the message that it'll be signed. Ask the provider to sign our fresh message. So this is what's going to pop up. Hopefully I can show you. This pops up MetaMask. You sign the message. Once you sign, because we're awaiting it, um, and then it's going to post to sign in with that message, that signed message with the signature. And then we're gonna wait for 200. Hey, if there is one, then we console log the address that comes through. Connected state, all right, is something that's like helping the button show, sign in, sign out, that kind of stuff. So I'll show that to you a second. And if not, then we're going to just have a console error, which probably fill that out a little bit more, saying, hey, the login failed, try again, or make sure you are using a wallet with the Adult Fantasy NFT. Sometimes people have multiple wallets. And so here's the sign out. It's just going to go to sign out, and then it's going to call it disconnected state. So here's the connected state. All right. Updates the fields and buttons. Make sure that sign in is hidden. We're going to add the listener to sign out. We'll show sign out button. Where again, console logging this, probably not that necessary. But just in case. And then we've added some text just for, right now, just to say, hey, no, really, you're logged in as this person. And then disconnected does like the opposites, right? It's like shows the sign in button, hides the sign out button, and then this little like member data thing that's right here, we hide that again. All right. I don't remember getting to get a CRA. That's for getting like, hey, we are on the same site, so there's no cores issues. And then we did the rest. Okay, pretty sure. Okay, so let's save that. Oop, wrong keys. All right, so then let's go to our views. This is now on the home page. Yeah, this is all it is now. So it's a button. It has the ID, so the JavaScript can find it, sign in. Here's the member data, and here's the sign out. I feel like there's more. No, maybe not. We did have to edit our routes. We just added these. They're not super restful, so we're just doing these. And I don't know if it matters so much, but you could probably improve this by making it a little more restful. But here it is. Um, let's see. I don't think I did anything to that. I took out. Right. Here's a big deal that I did. Okay. So basically, I started over with this member because part of what's making it easier to find it is that the ETH address is the primary key. And that makes a whole lot of sense. And I was at a client once, and instead of IDs forever, they had UUIDs, and so it was just it's not necessarily, especially if you're not using some route that needs like an easy 123 ID. Let's just use this is the identifier, the ETH address. That's what it is. So I redid. I basically rolled back because it was the only migration, and then I edited the migration, and I ran it again to be like this. And because that's how they had migrated. So we have and then we're no longer keeping track of that knots because we're generating it right then and then having them sign it, which is a little different process. So, but I agree that it's easier on the user. Um, so that was the big deal. So I don't know if I have migration. My migration's still up and running. Nope. I closed it because I was like, oh, I'm done with you. So this is what the migration looks like. If you have to make a primary key something else, it was just easier to roll back at this point than to do a change. So that's what you do there. This is what puts it together. And then we have our username timestamp. So we did put an index on it. Hopefully we have lots and lots of members, so it's easy lookup. And there you go. So I had 8 files. I have not committed this at all. That's sad. I think because I got right to the point of testing it in the browser. And so that's where I am. I guess I'll commit it in a second. But so let's see this in action, shall we? Okay, so I think what do I have up? This guy. Okay. So I had just done with a wallet that didn't have anything in it. Here's our little things. We of course should add some kind of error messaging. But right now this is what we're doing. And I think I'll just do I have the server up and running? Probably not. Check it out. This is something completely different. We'll get to that next. Okay, so I have two little things. Oh, it's still on. That's nice. Okay, cool. So back to this one. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh. Hopefully, I'm still logged into MetaMask. I have not touched this in a minute. Are you still logged in? Might have logged me out. Yeah, it does, which is safe, right? Okay, well, it's gonna be dots. You're not gonna see what I'm writing. Although I could always just put it down, just in case. Here we go. No, let's not worry. Okay. Take chances anyway. All right. And I feel like the evening here is kind of quiet. It's okay. Can all watch it later. MetaMask. I also did not promote this to my list again, which I'm gonna promote the entire series. I should not have talked while typing. Is that working? No. Okay. I will be silent as I concentrate on my password. Okay, here we are. All right. So this account is connected and it says live account, which means it's the one with the NFT. So I would like to disconnect. Um, disconnect for now. Okay. And then we're going to be on this account. It's already connected. Okay. We'll leave it that way. All right. So now, again, when we sign in, Badoo! The wallet does not own an AF NFT. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to try to do, might be a little bit of thing here. Okay, let's disconnect this one. No, I had two different ones. I'm going to make sure to disconnect both. Should disconnect if you're done with a site. It's good practice, good habit. All right, here we are again. So now I think, let's see, it might go back to the account one unless you like connect this account. Let me see what happens. Aha, notification. Thinking about it. Right, so it's like, well, what account do you want to use? I see several. Let's not choose that one and choose this one. I like that it did this. Okay. This is a good user experience because there wasn't a connected account. Which account do you want? Let's account this one. Let's do that one. So that should be accounts bracket 0. And let's go next. Connect. Great. Now, look, here's the message I mentioned. Okay, so here it is. Blah, blah, blah. Want you to sign in with your Ethereum account. So this is it'll be the URL, whatever's up here. And this is the account. And then as I put in the code, adult fantasy, chain ID 1, it's going to be mainnet, which is where the NFT is. And here we go. Here's the knots. Okay, so let's sign in. I have not done this yet. Drum roll, please. And here we are. We're signed in. Yay. Okay. I thought it would. But I did not know. So I'm very excited. Great. I don't know what the one is. What did I log out? What did I console log? Anyway, maybe the chain ID or something. Okay. Again, it was a lot of copy pasta, but then hooking it up together. So I'm very excited about that. Now the thing is, I'm very very proponent of test driven development, which this wasn't. So what you could consider this would be a spike. You would go write your test and potentially like what usually happens in like the real world is that you comment out things and then as you make it fail in the way you expect, then you comment them back in. So that's one way to do it. I had mentioned that I thought I'd be able to with an R spec feature spec um, sort of say execute JavaScript. With this added like message thing, I just don't know if it's possible because it's doing several things. It's executing the JavaScript, but then it's hitting the back end and then sending that information back. And if you're not clicking through MetaMask, I think um although I love feature specs, I just don't think it's the right tool for the plugin. Now, if maybe I'm wrong, please completely reach out to me if you're like, "Oh no, I've done this with MetaMask. Here's how you do it." Then I mean, yay. But I think that would be uh I think a frustrating journey because I just don't think it's going to work. So instead, we would do unit testing on the controller and unit testing on the JavaScript. And then a little bit of the view, I guess. The view doesn't have that much. And so I think that would be the way to test it. Um, So, but since nobody's here today, which is okay, I think I'm just gonna end it there. It's gonna be a short little episode. If you want updates on what we're doing, I think actually for now we're gonna sort of close out this little six video you know stream, and actually go back to some not back, but go to some smart contract work and potentially live stream some of that. So because we want to launch something, because we're itching to launch that, and the membership site, we're still talking about exactly what we want to do. We have ideas, but I don't want to overbuild, and so there. So we're gonna be announcing more stuff. Todd is doing his nightly um, nightly videos as well. And so we will be back all the time. I do promise to be back soon, probably next Tuesday morning, because that is a time also when folks are around and can come by. So that's what it is. It's live coding. So have a great evening, and I will be back next Tuesday morning with some smart contract stuff to look at as we work on that. So yes, again, happy coding, and I'll see you real soon. All right. Bye bye.